Yo, what's going on, guys? Reversal here. Today I'll be going over some of the changes on the ban list that dropped yesterday and the implications that I think it has on the format, and more specifically for the Dinosaur deck, since there were direct hits to dinos as usual, which seems to be just a recurring theme with these ban lists. Every list, dinos getting hit in some way, shape, or form. We're just always catching strays. It is what it is. But before I get into the video, if you haven't subbed to the channel already, definitely do that now. Drop a like, comment, all that good stuff. It all helps me out. But yeah, let's just get right into it. With the unlimiteds, a lot of this doesn't really matter. But Pank went to 3, which is cool for dinos because it's a dino card. But realistically, I don't think I'd ever play this card at 3. I wasn't even playing it at 1 in my going first list, and I was only playing it at 1 in the going second list, and it wasn't even that great. But yeah, it's at 3, so cool. Shout out Pink. And then the other relevant hit in this section is opening of the Spirit Gates from 1 to 3. I don't know why they did this. When I saw this pop up on the live feed, which shout out Konami for doing the live ban list during the at the end of the YCS, I thought that was really cool. It was like a little hype thing for the community, but yeah, I don't know why they did this. Once this popped up, I thought Yubel was getting nuked. I thought for sure Phantom was getting limited, which was the obvious hit that everyone expected. I thought Fiendsmith was getting hit for sure, and I was like, damn, because I just bought Fiendsmith. So I was fully expected Moon to get banned or something like that. And when the whole thing was done and it was just Phantom Limit, I was like, that's scary. Because this card is insane in Yubel. It's like another 1-card combo they could play now, because they can put the Chaos Summoning Beast back in, which wasn't worth playing with this card at 1, really. But now that it's at 3, you just get 3 more 1-card combos, so the deck has 20 again, if they really want to. So I find it hard to believe that taking out 1 Phantom of Yubel from Fiendsmith Yubel is going to kill the deck. I think it makes it a little bit worse, but I don't know. The deck still has 21 card combos. It plays through hand traps extremely well, so I still think it's probably the 4th or 5th best deck, in my opinion. Another card in the unlimited section that should have been there is Misk. This is bullshit that this card is still limited, but you know, what are we supposed to do? You just gotta take it at this point. It's never coming back. It's just not happening. Semi-limited, nothing matters. Bunch of stupid stuff. Limited, like I said, the Phantom of Yubel, good hit. Not enough, since they decided to put Gates to 3 for no reason. Zodiac Barrage doesn't do anything. No one cares. Trident's still banned. And then Chandra and Kaiman both got limited. And everyone was happy when this got announced, because nobody likes this deck. This deck takes no skill to play. If you play this deck, you probably suck at the game. And it's good that this deck is gone, because this shit was a plague on the format since it came out. And the ban section had Gimmick Puppet Nightmare and Jowgen. I don't know where my Jowgen is. I have one somewhere. I'm not looking for it. These are preemptive for the Link 4 that's coming out soon, but it's whatever. And then Original got banned. This is the one that hurts dinos a lot, unfortunately. If you've been watching my videos the last 2 months, I've been playing the Sinful build when I do play dinos. And it was probably the best build in a long time for the deck, and more importantly, since the Bonanza set, it's been the best budget version of dinos in a very long time, probably ever, as far as since I've been playing, since there's always been Prosperity that was needed. It was always expensive for the most part, and then Misk was limited for a long time. And it just sucks that people that did watch the videos and then decide to pick up the deck now can't play it anymore, so it's unfortunate. But they want to hit Snake Eyes, which, if you saw the YCS, only 1 Snake Eyes even made top cut, so the deck was kind of already falling off. But I don't think this was the way to hit it, in my opinion. I would have banned Flamberge or Poplar, just so you can't play Snake Eyes anymore. But you can still play these cards as a means to access other level 1 fires. Because, in my opinion, I don't think this engine's a big deal when you're using it to get into, Evil, Tile Mega Chirilla, Rescue Ace Hydrant, Fire King, Ponix, stuff like that. But they just made it so you can't play this engine in anything as a splashable starter for your level 1 fires anymore, which I think is kind of lame, but it is what it is. I'm not really surprised they left Wanted at 3, even though this card probably should be limited, because they do have more Azamina stuff coming out, I think next month, so that wasn't too surprising. And then Bonfire, I didn't expect them to hit that because Rizio really needs it at 3 for consistency purposes, so since they don't have 7 Tachyon yet, and Bonfire is just better anyways, but yeah, sucks that this got hit. So that kind of leads me into the Dino portion of this video. Just want to do like a quick little overview just to kind of go over what happened. But this engine was being used in the Dinos to get into Mega Chirilla, which in turn got you into Leos, which gets you the Singularity, which this card just attaches these two to an Evolsaur that you can summon from the extra deck. So it's usually going to be like, you just get a large for free and attach these. So this was really good in the breakers to be able to just hold this or just have a bunch of negates. So I don't know if this is really worth playing anymore, since these two cards are 2 more normal summons, which the deck already has like the amount of normal summons that you want to be playing, where it's not like too much and it's not too little. And these kind of pushed it to where you're kind of playing too many normal summons, but it was worth it for the fact that you got to play all these good extenders to go with it. And now that we can't play the extenders, I'm not really sure if this is worth doing. Having access to these cards is still really good going first, which I'll show a combo in a sec for the new build that I was playing before, this got hit, which the main 2-card Dino combo doesn't change at all with the original ban, which is cool, since I didn't get a chance to talk about the build because it got banned. But I took out original. I wasn't playing Poplar anymore. I wasn't playing the Xeno cards anymore. So the engine was just trimmed down for the Dino stuff to like the bare minimum, really. And then it was just playing like these extenders, and then I'll spoil it, I guess, now. I was playing the Fiendsmith package as well. I wasn't playing the trap, but it was just Dino cards and then all these extenders, and then you still had like 10 non-engine and 40 cards. So the deck was just a lot of gas, and I'll show the combo, like I said, in a sec that was using this. But yeah, it's kind of unfortunate I didn't really get a chance to play it. I was doing a lot of theory and stuff for it this week, and I didn't expect the ban list to be this soon, so it is what it is. But I don't know if these 3 are still worth playing, like I said, since you can't use the extenders anymore. So it's just you're playing extra normal summons and a brick just for the sake of going first and hoping your combo resolves. So these 2 still are like fine to normal summon. If you have a baby, it's still combo, but I don't know. It's to be determined. I'll show you the combo in a sec though. But another option to play Dinos is to just go second. I think going second actually probably got better just because the format's a little more condensed. Rizale and Malice are definitely the best decks. Then like the Fiendsmith deck is still like a thing. If you go second into that deck, the end board you really just can blow through very easily. So it's just the amount of non-engine they have, which is what's going to determine the game more than anything. But then after that, I think it's like Memento, maybe Ubel, stuff like that. I think you can go second into the format a lot easier than before. But yeah, for the going second, Lost World's a card that I'm not really too sure of anymore. I think this card doesn't play great into Rizio, because if you don't have like breakers before you play this, you can just activate this and then they're going to detonate or pop it. Or if you try to use this and then chain block your normal summon, they can still Rizio cross, negate your normal on res of the effect, since that card just ignores chain blocks for whatever reason. But yeah, I'm not too sure on Lost World. It's still good if you have a good hand, to where like you have the breakers to deal with some certain things, and then you can normal summon your Dino, proc the token, and then if you get stopped, you can go battle phase, beat over it, and then kind of make stuff happen that way. But I don't know how I feel about this card right now. Then alternatively, for going second, you have the Chummies. I think Fua is definitely worth main decking. Even though it's not like super crazy into certain decks, but I think it's still like the higher impact one. I think Perulia is pretty good against Ryzeal though. It's probably better than Fua, but it's not very good in the Malice matchup. So I don't know if I'd main like both of these right now. And then I think just breakers are just better for this deck than hand traps because we don't get to play enough hand traps to really matter. If you do want to play hand traps, you need stuff to hit duo drive and then stuff to negate detonator if you want them to really be effective. So I don't think we can play enough to really do that, but some breakers I think are good. I think thrust is really good, mainly to thrust for engine, especially if you're not playing Lost World at all. You just need to be able to play through the non-engine in your opponent's hand. So this card helps you do that because you get thrust for like Fossil Dig or Ground Xeno if you play that. So it's nice to have, and then alternatively you can just search for other breakers, like Talents is a good card. Slayer I think is one of the best breakers in the format. If the Ryzeal players don't set up the trap card, the breakers can be very effective in that matchup. But if they do respect the breakers, you do need to open 2 of them for the most part. But another one is Book of Eclipse. I think this one's okay. The main issue with this is it does play well into like plugin and the trap card, since they won't be able to bring something back and then make a new rank 4. But the detonator can just chain to this and pop itself, and then they could just plug in the detonator back. It attaches 2 materials and they still have detonator plus cross. So this card by itself doesn't crack the whole board, but it makes it a lot more manageable. And if you open a second breaker, you just win the game pretty much, unless you get hand trapped to death. And you have like other stuff like Storm Duster, like I had back row and whatever. I don't think the destruction cards like Raigeki Dark Hole are very good, since like detonator can just like detach and it doesn't get destroyed. So, and then the other matchup I don't think is great either, but yeah, I think going second's in a better spot. You especially if you have access to like the chummies, but if not, I don't know how good it would be, honestly. I think these cards are just like really important for going second. And then for going first, like I said, I don't know if I'll still use these, but some other cards you can play is the cash package. These cards didn't get hit at all, so they're still good just in general as generic cards. And then the Dinos, like, they're okay. They can bait out interruptions, hand traps, especially if you're going first. Like if you start with Unicorn, this card's just, your opponent's either going to hand trap it or they're going to be scared to use their hand traps, so they don't want to get extra deck ripped. So these cards are just strong in general. Could be worth playing. And like I kind of spoiled earlier, I think the Fiendsmith cards are probably the best cards to put in the deck for going first. This engine is just extremely good in general, as we saw kind of with the last 2 YCSs. And I think this engine got even better because obviously it didn't get hit first off. And I think this engine just plays well into Ryzeal because their boards are pretty crackable. And if you can establish Fiendsmith follow-up, it helps a lot to kind of just keep their stuff in check. So I think just the Fiendsmith cards are really good. I'm considering when I get the 3rd engraver, just bumping that up to 3, maybe playing more tracked and then playing the trap card and just kind of leaning more into just playing this engine. And alternatively, you could play, to go with Ovi, you could play like Doodle Stego or Gillosaurus. So like your Ovi is a 1-card Fiendsmith combo, which is something that's to be considered. It's kind of similar to back in the day when last time we had a Lancia format, when Dragoon was still legal with Verte. You could Ovi grab a Gillosaurus and then make Dragoon under Lancia. And that's something that can maybe be considered again. If you do play the cash cards, then Doodle Stego doesn't really work with them, so you'd have to use Gillosaurus, and Gill is kind of weird going second. You don't really want to give your opponent like anything back. But yeah, I think like these cards are just also just good into Lancia as well. So I think that's important because the deck does struggle into Lancia to a certain degree, especially when you're going second. So these cards can just help you a lot. And then alternatively, when you're going second, D-Barrier is a card that's in the format as well, which you can always UCT through D-Barrier, which is good, but unless you have like other links in your extra deck that are gonna be used all the time, not being able to make Xyz is kind of annoying still, especially if you're not gonna end the game and you want to like establish some other interruptions. Before it would just kind of be like UCT and SP. Now you can use your Fiendsmith cards as well to convert those bodies to go with your conductor, and that'll make winning the game and then kind of grinding a little easier. So I think these cards are really good. The trap, I don't know if I'm going to play this. I just wanted to mention it because when you do the little resource loop, when you leave the Lacrima and the Requiem engrave, you can Lacrima, bring out the Requiem, and then the Requiem will summon the Lacrima back out, and then Lacrima can dump the trap. And then the trap just lets you send Desiree from your extra deck for Ascend whenever you want. So it's nice to be able to do that, and then just this engine just recurs itself by putting itself back to the extra deck and main deck, so you can just keep using it every turn. So these cards are insane in the grind game, which helps Dinos since they don't really have a good grind game. So yeah, I think Fiendsmith's extremely strong in any deck, and Dinos is not really an exception to that. So now I'll show you the combo that uses all this stuff, which I think is the best way if you still want to play these cards. The combo's really good. So I'll just do OV Baby since this is like the most common one. Just OV add Misk, use the Misk for 1. Summon your Archosaur, pop the baby. Baby summon baby from deck. OV pop the baby, bring back the other one. Baby engrave trigger to summon Kaito. And then we're going to use the Archosaur to link off into Anima. And then we're going to use the Anima and the Kaito to link into Moon. So as you've probably noticed by now, this is the only non-dino we've summoned outside of the Anima. So this is really the only time they can nib you, because you're going to use your pill here to banish the Anima and the Kaito, and then the Kaito is going to come back. And then you're going to get your conductor from deck. So that's the only time they can nib you, and if they do nib you, it really doesn't matter at all. You lose one thing, you get a token, and then you could conductor, pop the baby, and then summon your Leos from deck, and then you're just fine. Like, the nib really doesn't do anything, but you just get to check nib anyway here if they don't do it, because you could just make Dolka since your Kaito already came back. So you just make your Dolka here, and then now we could just do Fiendsmith combo. So we're going to use the Moon to go into Requiem, and then Requiem to get Lacrima, and then Lacrima will dump an Engraver, and then you can use the Engraver in the graveyard to put the Moon back. And then what you're going to do here is link the 2 Fiends off into the Abyss Actor Super Producer. If you've seen my other videos, you've seen this card pop up a few times before, and it's just here to pop a face-up card in your field, which is going to be the baby. And this is how we're going to get access to the evil stuff. So this is going to summon Leos from deck, and then Leos is going to set the trap. So the thing about Leos is, for the other effect where you dump a fire, you have to summon it off a fire to do that. So if it's not summoned off a fire card effect, you can't do the dump. So we're going to have to do something to get that live. And what we're going to do is just link these 2 off into a Promethean Princess. And then the Princess is going to bring back the Leos, and now it's been summoned by fire effect, and you can use it to dump the Mega Chirella. So now you have both of those, and then you're just going to use these 2 to make an Amble Whale. So it's pretty similar to what the other end boards were looking like beforehand. It just doesn't have the Misk recycled, and it doesn't have the extra rank 6 because we're not playing the Xeno stuff at the moment. or weren't when this build was made. I might put them back in, but I don't know yet. But this is just without the Xeno stuff. And then on your opponent's turn, how it kind of plays out is you have the 2 Dolka negates, so that's 2 disruptions. You're going to use the Singularity to get 2 more disruptions, so it's 2 more negates. So boom, that's 4 disruptions. You're going to use the Princess to pop the Amblo Whale. It's 5 disruptions. Then you're going to use the Conductor, pop the Princess, 6 disruptions. And when the Princess is popped, you can trigger your Amblo Whale to get another pop. And then after all those interruptions, you still have all the Fiendsmith cards in your graveyard. So these are just going to be your follow-up, which is really good. So the fact that you get all those interruptions plus follow-up with these cards, which I think this engine is better follow-up than just getting like Mist back probably anyway, because this just keeps going and going every turn if it happens to go for more than just 1 turn. But and then if you do play the trap card, this makes these cards being engraved better, like I said, because you could use Lacrima, bring this out, and then use this to bring this out, and then this dumps the trap, and now you have the trap engraved where you could send the Desiree to get another interruption. So it's like 8 disruptions plus follow-up if you play the trap card. If not, it's just 7. But anytime you draw like the Fiendsmith stuff, you can just add it to the board, and it's really good. You could be Dark Ruler if you do have the Fiendsmith stuff with your Dino combo, because you'd end on the Desiree, and then you'd end on the trap set. So if they like Dark Ruler you or Drop Play you, you chain the trap, then you chain Desiree to negate that. So yeah, these cards are really good. This combo was a lot of interruptions. It gives you the follow-up grind game with the Fiendsmith cards. It played around Nib completely. So I think the combo is really good. I'm definitely going to be exploring this build more, kind of seeing where I want to go with it, since can't use the wanted package anymore. But just want to kind of show off what it's capable of doing still, even without original. But that's going to be it for this one. Like I said, I'll probably do the Ryugi video maybe tomorrow, because I'm getting the cards today. So be on the lookout for that if you want to see those cards in action. But that's going to be it for this one. Take care. Peace.